I have two emails to read today. The first one reads, I think I might be autistic. I saw a couple posts about it that challenged my understanding of what autism was. So I started to do more research to better understand and support the community. But as I was doing that research, I realized that I did stuff that are autistic traits. At first, I thought it was just a couple traits, but it turns out it's a lot of them. Stimming, sensory issues, and trouble with social cues, to name a few. I told my therapist about it, and she shut me down without even listening to my reasoning. She wouldn't even hear me out. I'm scared to bring it up to my parents because I don't know how they will react. I'm scared to self diagnose because what if I'm wrong and I'm not autistic? What if I am and suffer because I didn't tell anyone? If you read this, do you have any advice? First of all, for my advice, if you can, get a different therapist. If she won't even hear you out, she's not a good therapist. Secondly, don't be scared to self diagnose. Even if you're wrong and you're not autistic, being part of the autistic community can help push you in the right direction of figuring out how you're neurodivergent. People who have self diagnosed as autistic and later found out they weren't autistic at all, but they were ADHD or something, were helped by the autistic community to come to that realization. On the other hand, as you said, you may be right. Most self diagnosed autistics who went for a diagnosis were diagnosed as autistic. You did the research and you identified with it. That's how a lot of people find out they're autistic. When it comes to your parents, I suggest that you do bring it up with them. Yes, they may shoot down the idea, but they may not. You'll never know if you don't try. Explain the research you've done and even what autism truly is, since there are many people who still have outdated views about it. Tell them how you relate to autistic people and the traits that you share. In the end, I think it best you find yourself an autistic community to be a part of, whether in real life or online. Not getting diagnosed can shut the door to needed support, but having a community of like-minded people can at least help you feel accepted and welcome, which can do so much for your mental health. They may even be able to help you find a better therapist in your location and give you more tips as to how to approach the topic to your parents. The second email reads, I'm having great difficulty in my country finding autism-informed doctors. My last and possibly final attempt to find a therapist to help me, especially with my complex PTSD, has led to her misdiagnosing me with borderline personality disorder after repeatedly admitting that she doesn't know anything about autism or PTSD, and going so far as telling me the 7+ doctors who confirmed my diagnosis over the years must be wrong because I can't be autistic since I make eye contact and have empathy. To help my husband understand meltdowns and emotional states of a person with autism a bit better, what advice would you give him? Oof! What is with all the terrible therapists? She sounds incredibly frustrating. There are so many autistic people who can maintain eye contact, and we do have empathy. The myth that we don't is so outdated. I don't know what gave her the gall to undiagnose you with something she admitted knowing nothing about. Sorry. I know that your question isn't about your therapist. It's just that it really irks me when they do this sort of thing. Anyways, my advice with helping your husband understand autistic people better would be to learn from autistic people. There are many autistic bloggers, YouTubers, and authors out there that have given a plethora of information on their experiences with being autistic. When it comes to autistic YouTubers, my two favorite are Neurodivergent Rebel and Peekaboo Peaches. Right now, the ball is in your husband's court. It's up to him to educate himself on autism from an autistic point of view. You can help guide him, of course, but he has to be willing to learn. Neurotypical people, even those who claim to be experts on autism, can only give so much insight on what it's like to be autistic. It's one thing to learn about autism. It's an entirely different thing to be autistic. I hope these answers help you. And if you want to ask me questions to answer my live stream, just send me an email. My email is in the description. And yes, doctors who don't listen are the actual worst. It took way too long for me to be diagnosed with endometriosis because of that.